Hey guys, Kevin Muldoon here. What I've got here is the Microsoft Surface Pro 4. This is what a lot of people are calling hybrid devices, but I'm seeing a lot of people in the UK calling it 2-in-1s or convertibles, that kind of thing. It runs Windows 10. It's very thin, very light, and it has an absolute amazing screen on it. So what I'd like to do in this video is talk about what my first impressions of this device are. I've been using it for about 2 days. The version that I've got here retails for about £1,300, £1,400 in the UK, so it's quite a lot of money. I managed to pick it up second hand in the UK from CEX for £900, and I got them down a little bit in price because they're tiny little scratch there. It's quite a fragile little device in my eyes, and I guess that's the pros and cons of having a thin device. I do feel that sometimes I feel like it's so thin and so sexy, but I think you're always worried that it's going to break because of that. I'll just quickly run down the ports on the device. You can see here, getting shot. Right, you can see there the headphone jack. You've got speakers at this side and that side. Let me zoom out a little bit. You can see a little bit better. You've got the power button here, and you've got volume up and down. The other side, you have mini display port, and you have a USB 3. This is actually the power connector, and here is the kickstand. Now, I'll just pull this back for you. You can see here that you just pull that back, and then you can sit this, get the light out of the way there, you can sit this in any kind of way. You can sit it up and down like that in portrait mode, or you can sit it back. The stand is absolutely fantastic. It's one of the best things about it because you can sit the device at any position. You can sit it here, there. You can sit it all the way back to there, and it'll still be, it'll still sit there. It won't fall down or anything like that. It's solid. It works fantastically. Now it's got a lot of great features. This laptop, or hybrid. I think I'll just call it Surface from now on. You can see here at the front they've got the microphone there in the front and back. They've also got a front webcam and a back webcam. This one is, I believe, 5 megapixels, and the one at the back is 8 megapixels with 1080p HD recording. It has an infrared camera as well, and if I turn it on, it'll see me off camera. You'll see the red light, and it will open it up, and that's Windows Hello, and that's like a security thing where it will unlock the device for you. The only port that I've not really talked about, in fact I've missed out an important port actually, is here. You can see it there. There's a micro SD port. I was really lucky actually. There was a 64 gigabyte SD card left in it when I bought it, so I got that as a little bonus. And at the bottom there is the keyboard dock. So this is where you put in your keyboard. Now, let's quickly talk about the power supply. Power supply is actually quite cool because it's kind of like, like the way that Apple does. It's got the magnet in it. So you just do this, and it'll just pop right in. And then once it's powered in, that'll light up. The other cool thing that I really liked about it, this is just a little thing. Now, this is a modern device with USB 3, but it's only got one USB in it. But I noticed that the plug, if you can see here, it's also got a USB port in it, so you can charge your devices through that. It won't connect to the computer, I don't believe, but if you just want an extra port for charging your phone or something, that's quite useful. If you're going travelling or something, it saves you having to take another plug. So that's quite handy. Now, as I said, one of the things I love about this is the screen, and this has got quite a high resolution. It has a resolution of up to 2736 by 1824 pixels. That's 267 ppi. So it's kind of like 1.8. How would you say that? 1800p if you're going to compare it to 1080p. It's kind of like 3K. I suppose that's the best way to look at it. This particular version is the most powerful one. It's the i7. I've got 256 gig of SSD storage, but you can actually put 512 or a terabyte if you've got a lot of money. So this is the i7 processor, and this is the 6th generation. So I wanted to get the i7 so that I could do video editing on it, and I think it will be pretty good for that because of the display. Now, I'll just quickly talk about one of the reasons I was getting it is what I've currently been using the last few years is this ThinkPad. This is a second generation i5 and it's got 8 gigabytes of RAM in it, and my new one has 16 gigabytes of RAM in an i7. So, you know, this is a 6th generation i7, this is a 2nd generation i5, so in theory this should be a lot more powerful, even though, you know, it's such a mobile device. This thing, you know, I've never thought this was heavy, but after like using this for a few days, this feels really, really heavy. As far as only having one USB port, it's actually not a problem for me in a way, because this came with 3, but one of them broke, and the other one, you know, the other 2 are a little bit kind of like on and off. So I've started to get used to using Bluetooth devices, things like that. So it's not really been a problem. The main limitation of my Lenovo device is that it's only got a 720p screen. So for editing videos, for using Photoshop and things like that, it's been really bad. So I'll turn it around. Can you see me? Yes, you can. So I'll just show you what this is like as far as the display. Now, if I put this, it's everything is scaled to 200%. I know that I find it difficult to get this sun out of the way, but if I zoom in here, you might be right. So if I scroll this down, that's down at the highest resolution. It's difficult in this light. No, it's shining off. It keeps shining off the screen. Maybe put it in here. I think it's just with the white with the screen. I'll maybe drop the brightness down. Maybe that will help. There we go. Right, so I'll put the brightness down. It's bizarre looking through the camera because the brightness all the way level look, you know, when it's really down for me, it looks really low, but on the screen, on the camera, it looks better. So yeah, that looks a little bit better. This is at the highest resolution. It is, for me, it's kind of impractical. You know, you'd maybe, I think from 150% up scale, you can, but they recommend 200%. But I think from 150% up, you might be okay. If you go into the advanced display settings, you go in here, you can see all the different resolutions there. So that's the recommended one, but you can change it to 1080p, you can change it to anything really you want. It's good to have that because I think if you had to use, you know, if you're playing a game or you're using a program that wasn't scaling properly, then you might have to change the resolution. Now, I'm quite lucky because I've been hooking up a second monitor to my iMac for a long time, and my iMac uses a mini display port, which is what this has got. So, if you know, if I just scroll up to show you this, like you'll notice that I've noticed a funny thing that I need to kind of check, but it doesn't seem to be filling in the borders here. That's something I'll need to figure out why that's happening, but it does connect perfectly, and I've noticed that, you know, you can just make it the same and it'll scroll that down. And obviously this can't handle 4K, it's a 1080p monitor, but it's good that I have that as an option that I can connect it. This can actually power 2 4K monitors. There are people who have done that, and sorry, I've got the security set on all the time. There we go. Yeah, there are people who have this connected to 2 4K monitors. Some people have said that connecting 2 can be a little bit of a pain, but you know, I mean, in the short term, I don't see myself connecting 2 4K monitors personally. Now, as I says, I'm going to have to put this brightness up or I won't be able to use it. Right, that's about there. Now, as I said, this is a hybrid, and you can see me going around, you know, using this touchscreen. It works great. It also comes with a stylus, and this stylus has actually got a lot of really cool features. Only uses one quadruple A battery, and you can change it in there. But it's back on. It's got a clicker in the top, and it's got 2 buttons on the side. Now, you can use this just to use the device if you want to, but they do have certain devices, like there's a drawing thing there, fresh paint. You can see I've been messing about, just kind of drawing with things. Close that. So you can see this is it. Now, if you're a graphic designer, you can actually change this. You can change this nib. It's £10. You get a set of 4 different tips, and there's a little device that helps you pull it out, and then you can put on something that's thinner or thicker depending on what you need to do. There's lots of, if you hold in the top button there, you can erase, and I believe the other one acts as like a right click, I think. I think it does. Right, yeah, it does. The top button, if like say you make a note, you can, like I'll say firsthand, you know, I've only been using this for 2 days, so I'm still learning a lot about a lot of these features. But if you use the top button, you know, you make a note. Say you're on a browser, you see something cool, you write on it, you know, like useful, and then you can just click like that, and it'll make a note. And you can email that note, you can send it to your mobile phone, you can do whatever you want with it. So it's quite cool. It's got a magnet at the side of the device as well, so that it sticks there. But I've noticed a lot of cases that are out for this, they've got a holder for this, because this, I find this falls off quite easily. So another thing about this now, I spoke about how this is a hybrid, and really if you're going to use it as a laptop, you need to buy this. This is called the type cover, and this is the cover for the Surface Pro. It's the official cover, and really it doesn't come with it, but it really should. So all you have to do is look, magnetic, and it scrolls on like that. And I've got the red one. I wasn't sure, I was kind of, you know, do I go for the boring classic black, or, you know, they've got teal blue, a bright blue, they had this red, they've got a really expensive grey one, and what swayed my decision was financial. I quite liked the red initially. I thought I'll go for the red, then I saw this one was in sale for £70, so I picked that one up because the others were like £100. You can get one with a fingerprint scanner for about £35 more than these ones as well. Now this acts like a cover. You can see it folds up there, it folds up the top, but this acts like a cover, and when it's folded up, it just, like, you know, it looks like something you would take to university. It's got a nice little Microsoft logo there. Now, the one reason I was kind of hesitant about this was I looked at some images and I thought that the red looked super bright and it looked kind of cheesy and just horrible, but I'm really pleased with it actually. I really like it. So once it's connected up, you can use this, and now you can use it just like any laptop. Now, first thing they'll say is typing on this is amazing. This is a fantastic little keyboard, it really is. Now, that is obviously one of your main concerns. The other concern is the trackpad. Now, I've heard that previously the trackpad in the Surface Pro 3 and, you know, the 2 and the first one, the trackpad was bad. This one is absolutely amazing. It's, you know, it's quite large, it's made of glass, and it's hard to convey how good this is in the camera, but this is amazing. Now, before I had this trackpad, but I never used it. I always used the little ThinkPad, you know, the little red, I don't know what you call that, the thumbstick or something like that, I think called. I think that's wrong, but that's what I'm calling it. This is amazing. It's got all these gestures, you can swipe up and down. So I'll just switch on here. Now this is you can see I've been looking at covers. This is one I'm considering. So say I go into YouTube, typing from an angle here, there we go. There's lots of things that you can do, like swipe down and up, I think. That's so hard doing that from this angle. Right, that's not working at all from it's really difficult to try to do this behind the camera. There's a gesture where you do this like with your fingers and it brings it all down and then scrolls it back up. It's really difficult to do that behind the camera. What I'll do is I'll put on some copyright free music, because YouTube's really unforgiving when it comes to playing music from other videos. So I'll scroll down, copyright free music, right, okay. So It's going to display an ad first for Jason Statham's film. Hurry up. Why is that so slow there? Now, as far as how long this cover will last, I'm not sure. It feels amazing, but it's also that kind of material where you're worried that, you know, I'm not sure how it will look in a couple of years' time. I imagine the edges are going to take a beating. Is that playing yet? You know, a lot of people are telling you to use this Microsoft Edge browser, right? Because apparently it uses much less resources, so it helps your battery life. But as you can see here, I've found it's been really, really bad with things like YouTube. Right, I'm going to close this just now. Close all tabs. Right, let's try Google Chrome. So, YouTube. So, yeah, a lot of people are recommending use Microsoft Edge. Copyright. They say use Microsoft Edge. And they say that if you're going to use Chrome, you should like disable Flash and other things that burn your battery. I mean, look how quick that's loading up with Chrome. Right, for whatever reason, this always happens when you record video. Something goes wrong. It's not my Wi-Fi settings. Right, so I'm not going to waste all the time on that. I'll let it load up just now. The one thing I'll say, like so far, I've been looking at cases. As you noticed there, I've been looking for some cases, and there doesn't seem to be the perfect case for this. What I'm kind of worried about is the back here. It looks like it'll scrape very easily. And if you think of like iPhones and like the HTC One range of phones, it's that super sexy grey, you know, kind of aluminium in the back or whatever it is. But it just looks like it's going to scrape so easily. So I've been looking at covers to get for that. And it's kind of a catch-22 because it's so light that, you know, you want to put something on to protect it. So you want to get a big case. But when you put on a big case, it becomes heavier and it ceases to be, you know, the sexy little device that you bought it for. So it's kind of a catch-22 in that regard, as far as, you know, how you actually protect this. What I will say though is that I'm kind of leaning towards getting something that does protect it quite a lot, because I've seen a lot of people saying that they've dropped it, you know. And the reason for that is because, you know, when you use it as a tablet, you're not sitting at your computer, you're walking around with it and you're doing other things. As far as connecting other devices though, the official Microsoft dock goes into the power supply and it acts as it just kind of powers through the power supply. It's very expensive. UK it's about £160. Very, very expensive. I mean, if you work at your desk and you're connecting it to a monitor, it's probably worthwhile, but you're going to have to pay for it. For whatever reason, I can't get music to play. I can't get anything to play just now. You might be thinking that that I don't have a powerful computer, but if you come down here, you can see that I've got an Intel Core. There it's there. You can see this on the screen. That's another thing you can do, by the way. You can flip it around and set the keyboard like that, you know, if you're using it. But if you're at your desk, I think the easiest is just to pop it off. So if you look at the settings, you can see there that's the specs of this laptop. If I get this, I'm going to have to put the brightness down again. That's a pain in the ass. So you can see there. It's an Intel Core i7 6650U. It's clocked 2.2, but you can get up to 3.4. I believe it's got 16GB RAM and it's 64-bit. Now I didn't plan on YouTube not working today. Unfortunately, that's what's happening. I'm not sure why, but it's starting to annoy me. Now you can see here, right, so when you're using it without, I'll get this wire out of the way, when you're using it without the keyboard, you know, you have the option of using the virtual keyboard, and I've just noticed there, like normally what happens is a little virtual keyboard comes down, but it's not happening just now. So what I do is I want to restart it. This is the thing with this laptop, is that there's a lot of people noted that there's been a lot of problems over the last year, and one of the biggest problems was sleep. You know, it was a problem with sleep. Now, I haven't noticed anything major yet with sleep, but I have noticed the browser freezing sometimes. Now, I'd never experienced it with Chrome, but I don't know if that was a YouTube issue. I don't know what that was, but there are some kind of driver problems. I think that a lot of the problems, though, I think they're stemming from Windows 10 rather than from the device itself. Right, now it's there now. I think what happened there is, what I'm trying to show you just now is, when you've got here the search bar, this is something that I found out. The cursor is here to search, right? But if you push down here, you bring up the virtual keyboard. Now the virtual keyboard, you can split it, you can move it around if you want, you can change it so that, you know, you've got keys on the left and right, things like that. There's a few different options you can do. You can change that. I think that's for the stylus. But I've just put it back to normal. Now, what the annoying thing is, I've found, is that really as soon as you when you click onto a field, then it should automatically bring up this this virtual keyboard. So as soon as you enter, you know, into a field about searching or anything, it should really bring up this virtual keyboard. But it doesn't always do that. And if you saw at the beginning, you know, I was clicking, it was flashing on the search field of Bing, and it wasn't actually bringing up that virtual keyboard. Alright, now we've got it now. Seems to be working now. As always, a Windows restart solves everything. So, what I'll quickly do is, I've picked the worst song in the world. I do apologise for this, but that's at 100. And it goes all the way down to that. Things like that can be hard to explain in the video. That, you know, this isn't going to replace a speaker system, but as far as laptops go, the speakers are excellent. Compared to my Lenovo, the speakers are the best I've had in years. Now, obviously, I'm going to notice a big amount of changes because I'm jumping from a laptop that's, you know, this was released in 2011, the Lenovo. This was released in 2015. In fact, the Lenovo might be older than that when I think about it. So I'm jumping quite a few generations. And so I'm noticing a lot of big changes. First being the resolution. It's going to really help me, you know, in a lot of programs. So for example, if I can bring up, see it again, what I mean? Like I'm pushing this, it's flashing, but it's not bringing up the virtual keyboard. Before, I noticed that virtual keyboard disappeared when I disconnected, so I don't know if that means I didn't disconnect properly, or I don't know. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do is just put on Premiere Pro, just to give you an idea of how this works. And in the meantime as well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on my Bluetooth mouse, and hopefully, there you go, I can move this around as well. I've got it set up so that as soon as I set up the Bluetooth mouse, as soon as I connect it, then the touchpad on the keyboard, it gets disabled. So this looks fantastic for editing videos. And if you're really trying to fit everything in the screen, you know, if you had lots and lots of layers, then you could always do that. You know, and you're going to increase the canvas that you've got for Premiere Pro. But I do think that resolution, it might be good for, you know, displaying videos, it might be good for playing games, but as far as working on the device, I don't think that resolution is very practical. It's just too small. So I think you're better scaling it to 200% or just put it at 1080p. So I've had it 2 days, and my first impressions are that it's excellent. I really do love this device, and it's hard to kind of explain how thin, how sexy this device is. And the magnet on this works perfectly. You can see there, it's a very thin device. I won't bore you with all the specifications as far as length and breadth, but this has got a 12.3 inch display, and it weighs about, I think I'll tell you exactly how it weighs. It's like 786 grams, so like it's about 0.8 kilograms. And this cover's very light, so it doesn't add much weight. So the total's probably about 1 kilogram or 1.1. I don't know exactly how much the type cover weighs, so I'm just guessing at that point. Now again, if you put on a case though, you're going to add a lot of weight. Some of the cases that I've been looking at add 300 grams, 400 grams, some of them even 500, 600 grams. But as I said, this is a very, it does feel like you could damage this quite easily. And especially if you're using this as a tablet. Now, if you're going to be using this as a tablet, one of the things you might want to do, making sure it's me, yeah, is you go down to this little notification thing down here, if I can get it, and you put it on a tablet mode. Now, this is one of the greatest things about this thing. When I talk about being a hybrid device, it truly is. Windows 10 is perfect for using this as a tablet. So all you do is you switch it to tablet mode, and then, you know, it acts like a tablet, you know, and there's a store, the Windows Store. For the life of me, I can't see it there. Where's the store? Is it listed there? Oh, there it is, yeah. You can download mobile specific apps. Works exact same as the Apple Store or as the Android App Store in Google Play. But is it as good? Is it? No. It's not. I was going to swear there, but no, it's not. It's not as good. Not even close. There's not enough apps, and the apps that are there, they just don't seem as good. You know, like for example, I installed the Amazon app, and I thought there was something wrong with the laptop because, you know, it was so slow. Everything was just slow and sluggish and all that. And I thought it was the actual laptop at first. And then I read some comments and everyone was saying it's just the app, you know. So I think developers aren't putting Windows 10, you know, the tablet or the mobile aspect of Windows 10 as a priority. So a lot of their, you know, a lot of their attention is going towards Android and towards Apple, you know, it's iOS because that's where their customer base is. And, you know, not all of the apps, but some of the apps have been a little bit, they just don't seem like they've been given enough attention. Now, certain things like this, Candy Crush was already installed, so, and it's been promoted there, so I'm sure this is an app that works well, and the ones that have been promoted are the ones that have been optimized. But just bear in mind, there's certain apps here, you can see Facebook's only got like 3 stars or so. There's certain apps that aren't being promoted and developed. Not being promoted. They're not being developed as well as they should have. So I'll wrap up here because I think I'm mumbling on a little bit, but this is my first impression of this device, and my opinion will change over time, no doubt about it. You know, I'll do some more videos about this in the future, but what I want to do was just give you my opinion of what I thought this laptop was like, what the Surface was like after basically a day or so of usage. So I'm sure there's some things I've missed out, but if you get any questions about this whatsoever, please do leave a comment below. I'll do everything I can to answer them, related to the Surface, of course. And connected. Please do leave a comment below. I'll do my best to answer them. And if you've enjoyed the video, please do consider subscribing to my channel because I've got some more videos about the Surface coming along. I'm going to do some tests on the webcam, and I'll do a review of the case that I buy as well, and I'll maybe try and touch back on this in a few months' time as well, once I've used it for a few months, and I've seen what works and what doesn't. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, take care.